Oh, that was cool. It did a little countdown on the screen.
Yeah,
Did you see
I
that?
saw that. I saw that. And it
Cool.
says go.
This is All About Wine, the talk show dedicated to the wine industry since 2009. Featuring winemaker, cellar master, vineyardist, and tasting expert, Ron.
Basically, what we're trying to do on this program is just trying to educate people and trying to make wine less confusing and more friendly.
From coast to coast and around the world.
You know, we really have had some neat people on the program. I love that.
Post your questions and comments during the live show on our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/allaboutwinebtr. Again, that's www.facebook.com/allaboutwinebtr. And now, All About Wine is on. Here's Ron.
Always good.
Yeah. And our little intro icon counts down too, so we know how much.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Are we still on? Is it still on Facebook and YouTube?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
That's where we're going out right now.
Okay.
That's what Restream was originally used for, and it's just I don't know. It's just one of those things. But now you see that side of it, and this is a whole different studio to us. So welcome to the show, folks.
Yeah, welcome to All About Wine. This is our January 16th, 2025 edition. If you're listening to archives, as most people do, then we don't even know what number show this is. You listen to some of these other podcasts, and they say this is show number 222, and I have no idea what show we are. So it's, I don't know, 1,000. We hit 1,000 yet? I don't know.
1,000
shows?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Go back. No, it was. Yeah, I have to go back and see where it was.
Because if we hit 50 a year and we've been on for 12 years or 13 years, then we haven't even hit 500 yet. I don't think so. Going on that simple math there,
sure.
So, but welcome to All About Wine. We don't have a guest tonight. We do have information I can pass on to you and share with you and all that, as always, but no guest. Starting out, today is the anniversary of Prohibition. Prohibition went into effect in 1918, I believe it was, and 18 or 1919 it went into effect. It was voted on in 1918 and went to effect on this date in 1919, the 18th Amendment, which prohibited alcohol, which I just occurred to me today. Prohibition is January the 16th, and they're calling January Dry January now. I wonder if there's any correlation between the two. Don't know. Might be the reason why they chose January as Dry January, because the prohibition went into effect. But I don't follow Dry January anyway, so it makes no difference to me. If you do follow Dry January, then I'm sorry. So Prohibition 1919 on this date, and then it was repealed again in 32, I think. I don't know. I can't remember the exact year, but it repealed a few years later, after the United States government realized that people were still drinking anyway, and they were not getting any revenue from it. So they figured, hey, we might just well get the revenue from it. About the same as with marijuana now, it seems like. They battled it for years and people were still using it, and they figured, okay, well, why don't we just get some revenue from it, make it legal in certain states? So they did, and that's what's happening, I think, with when you start talking about legalization of marijuana. So enough of that. Information tonight. Excuse me. And we also will go back to our glossary and give you some more wine terms and different things on that. First, I'm going to share from Wine Folly. They had a list of 10 wines you ought to try in 2025. Madeline Puckett is the one that sets these up. She is the wine guru, if you will, for Wine Folly. I need to get a hold of her this year and see if she would mind being on the show. She's been on lots of different podcasts, and so I have to get her on. In fact, she was on. I got a blank now. Oh, geez. I can't think of it. We're going to interview her, too, as soon as I can get a hold of her again. We had a problem with Blog Talk Radio, and we couldn't interview her, but she's got a new book out, and need to get a hold of her and talk to her.
What, Natalie McLean?
Natalie, yes. Natalie McLean.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Madeline was on Natalie's show, and she interviewed her, talked with her on that. And so I know Madeline, I've seen her pop up on other shows. And so I know that she's open to this stuff. So I'll have to get a hold of her this year sometime and get her on the show and let her talk with us this year. But 10 wines she says you ought to try in 2025. Might take a little bit of looking. Like she says, Cabernet Sauvignon, Chardonnays, Rieslings, Merlots, they pretty much everywhere on all the shelves and all the stores and everywhere you look for wine, they are there. But there's some other wines out there that she's suggesting. I agree with her on most of these. A couple of them, I've never been a fan, but most of these I do agree with. First one is Sicily's Bold Red, she calls it. I'm going to pronounce it wrong. Nero d'Avola. NEROD''AVOLA. I've had this before. It was the one I had. I wasn't really impressed, but she says it has the boldness of a Cabernet with a bit of Mediterranean swagger. I must have had she says you can get some amazing bottles for only $20, under $20. But she's grape plums, cherry, black plum, tobacco notes with some nice tannins. It sounds good in her description. I'm going to have to pick up another one because, like I say, the one I had wasn't impressive. But, I'll have to try it again. Next one, the wine that's used in port, Torrego Nacional. I always pronounce that wrong. It's just a dark red grape that's used, like I say, in port. They age it in port, and it's one of the main wines for port production. And it's a dark, deep red, blueberry notes, plum flavors. I mean, distinct plum. You can just really detect the plum in it. It's got aging potential, and it's not as expensive as port, which is a good thing. They're doing the aging for you when they sell it to you in the port, and when you just go out and you can find it and buy it, then you're not paying them to age it for you. So Touriga, Touriga, Nacional, Nacional, Nacional. And next one, Carignan, Carignan. Yes, it is pronounced Carignan. That end of it's not pronounced. It's a French grape. You don't hear about it too much because a lot of times it's used for blending. It's got some really nice coloring and flavors for blending. This gives you some nice black cherry flavors, tobacco notes, baking spices. It's got some nice acidity. I am a big fan of Carignan. It is really a nice wine. It's hard to find a lot of places too, which is really sad by itself. You can see it in a blend of stuff. A lot of times when you go to Chile, you'll see Carignan blended with other grapes, but by itself is not as popular, which is a shame because it is a great, great wine by itself. Next one, Montepulciano. It's Italian. It's Tuscany. It's really a nice red wine. It's got some plum, black plum, boysenberry, she says, and sweet spice notes. I've always liked it. It's reasonably priced too. I think I have quite a few of them in my wine racks that I pull out really quite often. They're great winter wines. The next one, Cinsault. It's a cousin of Pinot Noir. It's Cinsault, Cinsault. It's she gives it strawberry perfumed elegance. It doesn't have the price tag you're going to find with a nice Pinot Noir, but you are going to pick up a lot of the characteristics and flavors of the Pinot Noir. So if you like a Pinot Noir, then this is something that you will find nice. And not only France, look for South African Cinsault. You find a lot of that. Speaking of South Africa, Pinotage. Pinotage is South Africa's signature grape. It's been around for a long time. It's a cross between a Pinot Noir and a Cinsault, and it's got some rich blackberry, dark chocolate aromas and taste to it. A little bit of smokiness in most of them I've had. Pinotage is really a nice wine, and you will enjoy it. And it's reasonably priced too. That's another good thing about it. Chenin Blanc. Chenin Blanc is making a return, I think. Didn't hear too much about Chenin Blancs for a long time, and now you can find them, and you can find them anywhere from $20 on up to $200-$300, if not more. Chenin Blancs are aging, has a lot of aging potential. Originally in Loire Valley, it's can be made into a sparkling wine. It can be made sweet. It can be made to be a really dry white. So if you're looking for a rival to Chardonnay, check out Chenin Blanc. And California makes some nice Chenin Blancs too, by the way. I mean, so you don't have to get French. You can find some really pleasant Chenin Blancs out of California with some comparable flavors and characteristics that you're finding in the French wines. Italy, Mediterranean white wine, Vermentino. It's a little bit more settled than a Sauvignon Blanc. It's got some nice minerality to it, some nice texture. Citrusy, like the Sauvignon Blanc. And she's saying the characteristic salty finish. I've never detected a salty finish in a Vermentino, but it could be there. Check it out. Vermentino, Vermentino. Chenin Blanc, Chenin, Chenin Blanc, Blanc. Albarino is the next one. Spanish white wine. It's got some nice minerality in it. For a Spanish white wine, it's really good. I had a Spanish company that I was dealing with when I had the winery. We were thinking about getting a few wines in. They sent me 2 different Albarinos, and boy, I was really impressed with them. But sad to say, I was somewhat impressed with the price too. And after shipping and everything that was considered, we didn't go with Spanish. But it's Albarino's nice wine. A good alternative to a Pinot Grigio. If you like a Pinot Grigio, you will probably like the Albarino. And the last one, Marsanne, Roussanne, both from the Rhone Valley, and age-worthy, nice complexity, give you a nuttiness, some nice aromatic aromas and stuff. So there's another alternative for the wines for 2025. All of those, she's saying, are the wines that to check out in 2025. These are good wines. So thank you, Madeline, for your list. I'm surprised she didn't have more New World wines in here. She had almost all Old World. Only about 2 or 3 of them were New World. Oh well. She is somewhat leaning toward the Old World, I've noticed in her wines over the years, so that doesn't surprise me. Okay. What is okay? I don't want that. I tried to get Wine Spectator. They have a podcast. I found their podcast, but then when I try to click on something else, I have to go through a whole bunch of other stuff again and all that. And I don't know. It's such a pain. They are available on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and on iHeartRadio. But yeah, I've been messing with them. It's not as easy to pop them up as I thought it would be. So that's okay. Let's see, what are we going to do here? Okay, that's why, because every time I go into the Wine Spectator account, it says cannot connect on to the account for some reason. So, all right. Okay, next one we're looking for here is, let's see, and let's see. Oh, I know what. I have set aside. In fact, I told you this, I think, last week. I have set aside some information, some newsletters and stuff from different newspapers and everything that I've put into email, and I'm going to get you caught up on these, let you know about these, because they are stacking up on me and I want to get rid of some of them. And so let's see, let's dump that one, and let's dump that one. Okay, here we go. This is interesting. Dial Tone Pinot Noir. This is a wine and spirit store in Leawood, Kansas. It is caught in the middle of a false advertising dispute from one of America's most popular wines, Meiomi Pinot Noir. And you've all seen Meiomi's advertised. It's on every TV channel that I'm on. I think a Meiomi advertisement comes up at one time or another. The Ranch Mart Wine and Spirits, which is located 1 mile from the Kansas-Missouri border in Kansas, features boxes of Meiomi stacked against eye-catching orange and blue boxes of a lesser-known Pinot called Dial Tone, D-I-A-L Tone, T-O-N-E. Above the bottles, an ad for Dial Tone produced by a Sonoma County winemaker Adam Lee, reads, and I quote, "There is less sugar in 32 bottles of Daltone Pinot Noir than in just one bottle of Meiomi Pinot Noir." Whoa, can you imagine? Meiomi, whose parent company is Constellation Brands, which is enormous. You don't want to go head to head with them because they can drain you of all of your money in no time. Constellation Brands heard about this, and they sent a strongly worded letter from their lawyers to Lee, owner of the winery, and the letter demanded that Lee provide evidence to support his claims, and suggested his ad may violate a federal law prohibiting false advertising. And he said, the letter stated, Constellation welcomes competition in the marketplace, so as long as such competition is fair and does not mislead consumers. And so Constellation acquired Meiomi from the founder of Meiomi in 2015 for $315 million, which is the fourth largest wine producer in the country, Constellation, and didn't respond to any requests for information on this article. They, you're so big you can just ignore that stuff. But excuse me. Lee's ad dares to make a contentious wine industry secret public. Wines that share the same shelf space as the supermarket can have wildly different levels of residual sugar. And that's the amount of sugar left over after fermentation. And they can still all be classified as dry, even with the different levels of sugar, which is true, although they looking at that every time I read anything. It's widely known that the American drinker prefers wines with some sweetness, but it also helps cover up the shortcomings of some cheaper wines. And Meiomi, which has a production of over 1 million cases a year, is often cast as the villain in a group of corporate brands that wine professionals and oenophiles love to hate. Caymus and the Prisoner wines are a couple of the others that are in that category. And it's true, whenever you see bad things written, Caymus, Prisoner wines, and Meiomi, critics are also saying they're over-manipulated, artificial, too sweet, doesn't taste like the traditional Pinot Noir. There's all sorts of stuff, and that's not just Meiomi. That's for many, for these other two too. Caymus and Prisoner. They, always talking about they're too sweet. The Wine Spectator has also reported that past vintages of Meiomi it contains small amounts of grapes, including Riesling and Gewürztraminer, and they're not listed. They should be. A lot of the commercially available wines are not very well made, not very honest about what's in the bottles, said Travis Johnson, who is the Ranch Mart general manager who created the display. Meiomi is pretty much used as a pejorative when it comes to fine wines in the industry. It tastes like a laboratory project, he said. Oh, well, that's, pretty low hitting there. Said some simple math to determine the assertion of his ad, which he posted on social media, reached out for a copy to display in the store, though he sells truckloads of Meiomi. I sell people Meiomi because it pays the bills. He says he's sold roughly 800 bottles so far this year. And this was dated in September. So 800 bottles so far this year. Well, I clicked back there and I lost my place. Crap. Oh, there we are. I have a never-ending infinity stack of Maomi that just never depletes. While drinkers can typically perceive residual sugar above a threshold of 2 or 3 grams per liter, it's not uncommon to find dry wines on the supermarket shelves with up to 10 grams per liter. Yet, Myomi's sugar level is nearly double that, Lee points out. Nearly double that. 20 grams per liter? Oh. He said that, yeah, here's your difference here. He created Daltone to offer consumers an inexpensive Pinot Noir alternative to brands like Myomi's that's honestly made. At Ranchmart, Myomi costs $24 and Daltone $36. Although he says it's so cheaper elsewhere. Lee said he doesn't use artificial additives like oak chips, a cheaper alternative to oak barrels, or grape juice concentrates like Mega Purple, typically used to intensify wine's color. Mega Purple also increases the sugar content, which it does. I know that for a fact. He goes on to say that after consulting with his lawyer, Lee sent Constellation response with the recent lab results, but didn't back off his brazen approach. I think you're saying that I should keep making truthful statements about Myomi. Thanks for that. Like most people these days, I care about how much sugar I ingest. He concluded with an offer to sell Constellation a couple of bottles of Daltone so the company can conduct their own test. Just send me the credit card information, he said. He's not too worried about the potential lawsuit, stating the numbers are what the numbers are. And he doesn't plan on taking the display down. So there you go. Check your, and the reason I thought this was interesting was because the sugar content's in there. Check. And this is one of the arguments for wine labeling. And I thought about that when I first read this article. One of the big arguments for labeling, put labels on wines with full disclosure, because the sugar content, it can jump up. This article stated, sometimes, 3 times the amount of 10 gram. I mean, that's a sweet wine. And, I always hear, and people tell me, well, in Canada, they have the standard of numbers. 1 is low sugar, 2 is a little bit of sugar, 3 is medium, 4 is high, and 5 is a sweet wine. And which is a good idea in practice. In reality, though, if a winery wants to state their wine is a little bit higher in sugar and a little bit sweeter, they can label their wine that way. They can hedge it up a little bit. And then people's going to buy it thinking it's going to be sweeter than what it is. And people like sweet wines. Let's face it. It's not a big secret that people prefer that little bit of sweetness in their wines. Look how Starbucks has made their fortune with all these additives they put into just a regular black cup of coffee. It's absurd. But people like sweet wines. So, like I say, this is a big.
You still there? Something muted. Hold on a second. I don't hear you. I don't know if you muted your microphone or unplugged or something happened. Well, this is odd. I don't hear him. Oh, Ron, are you still there? Let me check something real quick. Hopefully he doesn't. Let's see. Let me try this. Well, maybe I can't hear you.
Okay, how about now?
Well, I can hear you. I think I reset my screen, and it's showing my name as yours.
I reset mine too. I went out. I mean, I had the box up here, the live box up here. I clicked on it, and it wouldn't show it up on my screen. So I rejoined, went through and rejoined. And
yeah, I had to also. I don't know what happened, but I played the rain noise, and I couldn't hear the rain noise either. And I thought, okay, something's wrong.
Really?
So, probably.
Uh-oh.
Not sounding good. Can't have that happen.
Good. Not at all. That's why we're getting away from Log Talk Radio. Well, besides the fact they're closing, but that's one of the issues we have with Log Talk Radio. And just all of a sudden it just stopped. I heard you talking to me. I heard you telling me you couldn't hear me, but I don't know if.
Well, I wonder which one. It might have been on my end then, because I mean, if you were talking and I couldn't hear you, I don't know. It might have been on this end.
I don't know.
Anyway, we'll have to replay it and see what it sounds like.
I don't.
Which one of us is getting through?
Yeah, Is there any way we can tell that our voice is going through on this? Is there something we can click on that show us that we're?
Well, the little icons on the screen, they like pulse whenever you're talking. So that was one thing that I was looking at yours and I couldn't see anything. And so I thought, okay, well, maybe he got disconnected. But if you look at those two little, one says MB for me and one's RH for you. And if you talk, you'll see it. Yeah. Kind of expand out from the center.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That lets me know that you're talking.
We're both doing it. Yeah, we're both dragging on. See, I'm when I'm on other stuff, I don't have the studio pulled up here. I'm.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, you got to do other things.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're back.
I don't have 14 monitors like you do, so I just.
I probably don't have that many.
Okay.
Almost not even close to that. But we'll have to keep an eye on it and see if this keeps up with disconnecting. I don't know.
Yeah, that's odd. It really is odd. Yeah. So, well, let me go back and try it again. I don't know where I might have been left off, but point being, check your sugar levels, your residual sugars. And I was talking about Canadian wines that are labeled 1 through 5, I think it is. They hedge a little bit high. I don't think there's a government standard on those. I think it's just a basic guideline. Now, I had somebody tell me that yes, it is a government standard that they're set up, but everything I find just, I don't know. I'm not finding anything in the Canadian government standard on that. So if anybody knows what the truth is on that, email us, let us know, because I'd love to find out. I haven't thought about that. But watch your sugar levels if you're curious about sugar and what's going on. And that's a good thing. Oh, my engineer just brought me in a wine for this evening. So let me tell you about this. It is Franciscan Estate Cabernet Sauvignon 2021. It's out of California. It says in their little propaganda sheet on the back, sourced from some of California's finest sun-drenched vineyards, Our Cabernet Sauvignon is rich and full-bodied with characteristics of ripe dark fruit, such as blackberry and plum. They always go back to that blackberry and plum. It has hints of oak and vanilla with a velvety finish. So that must mean it was aged in oak if it's got those. San Miguel Modesto, California. Vintage and bottled by Franciscan Estate. So there you go. What is ABV? Boy, they put these things so small. It's required to have it on here. Where is it? Well, that is really, really odd. I can't even see the alcohol on this. Why is that little small thing down in the corner there? Why do I? No, that's not it. That's just a code number. Well, where is that? Is really is supposed to have the alcohol by volume listed on here. Oh, there it is. 14.2% alcohol by volume. So it's a little bit high. 14% is getting up to a little bit high, which, is. So while we've stopped talking about it, let's taste it. Ooh, it's got some nice aroma. It's got that nice Cabernet aroma on it. If you're a Cabernet drinker, you know what I'm talking about. Oh, that's very nice. Legs, not a lot of legs on this. Not getting, no, not much at all legs. With such a high alcohol, people are saying the alcohol is what's giving it the legs. And some say it's just sugar, and some say it's, but I'm not getting a whole lot of legs on this. Huh. Well, that's pleasant. It's not overpowering. It's not real tannic. Am I gone again?
No, you're still here.
Okay. Now I'm echoing.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
And you sound like you're in a cellar.
Really?
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you're only listening to, I don't know.
Me.
Okay.
Okay. Let me.
No,
I'm
me.
still. Boy. Ah. It's just every time I say something, it's right afterwards, it's coming back at me again.
Oh, that's yeah, I know what that is. It's you're listening to the show through your headset.
Oh,
I believe, because I don't know what your sound thing.
it just started. It thing beep,
did it?
a couple times on my end, and it just started.
Interesting.
So
yeah, it shouldn't be. Let me refresh this. Yeah, keep going, and I'll restart my side here. See what that does.
Okay. Let's see what goes on there. I'm still on. It's still doing it, though.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, still doing it.
Audio.
And you still sound like you're, in a big empty room.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if it's picking you up on the show or not. But.
I don't know. Let's see. No. Okay. Well,
I will try to put up with it and not go crazy.
Yeah. I had the feedback before the show started, when I was sitting here just setting up the outro, and it happened when I had the line coming back that I was talking out through, and the browser was feeding back into it, and I could hear an echo. It's an annoying echo. It's like you're talking,
yeah,
and just a split, half second or whatever afterwards, you hear what you're saying, and it's
Exactly.
I don't know if it's that's pain. That is painful.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd have to check.
I'll
check
try to
that too.
ignore it, but if it starts driving
Yeah.
me too crazy, I'll just go screaming out of the room or something. Yeah.
Or take your headset off if you have to. I mean, or at least put it behind your ear or something, and then you don't have to hear that part. But I've done that before, just because it's very difficult to talk, and when the echo back to you is just right, it's like you can't. It's actually shut me up a few times. If you can believe something would actually shut me up, but I've had to put my because I'm listening. It's like hey, this is Mike. Hey, this is Mike, and I was like, oh no, I can't do that.
Yes.
I know.
It started.
Yeah.
It gave me a couple of beeps, and that's why I thought I disconnected. But it went on to this, and yeah. Well,
I wonder
I'll try.
why though, because okay.
I don't.
Yeah.
Huh.
We'll find out what's going on next one. Okay.
Well, it's a good thing we're running across these glitches here while we have no guests, because with a guest it would be
that much worse.
difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So okay. Well, let me try to do this without going completely insane. So there you go with the Mayomi that's in California. I guess the guy still got the sign up. That's in Sonoma County, and he's or that's where it's made, and he's got the store in Kansas, right, not too far from the Missouri border. So let me get out of this and go to this and get out of this. And let me go back to this and do that. Let's see. Fine. Okay, here we go. This is Robert Mondavi, winemaker. Still passionate about creating wines, the article says. It is in decades spanning her long career, starting in France to Napa Valley. Genevieve Janssens has always pursued what she thought was a rather simple dream, to be in the wine industry, which is a pretty simple dream. And if you have any knowledge at all, you can do it. Along the way, though, she's become a legend, famously known for her remarkable Bordeaux-style wines crafted at the Robert Mondavi Winery. And her love is celebrated globally in Kalen Vineyard on the western Oakville Bench. She has racked up numerous honors. There's a list here that is just unbelievable. I'm from France to the United States. And then in 2020, she was named as Best Woman Winemaker by the Sakura Japan Women's Wine Awards. The number of medals or wines that garnished, as it says, span pages. She's had Cabernet Sauvignons that have been rated 98 points in the top 100 of 2023. And she's had wines that have sold for $250 or more. Yet she's still trying to keep that dream of just working in wines alive. She doesn't so much look at the fact that she's a trailblazer, but that she's just a winemaker that enjoys making wine. She turned 74 October the 13th, and she says she's had quite a few whirlwind harvests and schedules over the years that she has done. She has received her National Diploma of Enology in 1974, and she returned to her vineyards in Corsica and France, which she managed until 1977. But she said she wanted to be on her own, so she went to South France, where her family was living, and started her own enology lab. Her clients were some of the big names out of France. She realized in France at that time that a woman was never going to make it as a winemaker, but only as a lab tech or a salesperson. So she figured California was where she needed to go. In 1970, she packed her bags and went touring wineries across the state of California. And Robert Mondavi was extremely well known at the time. So when she stopped there, she was impressed by his philosophy, from the vineyards all the way to the winemaking and everything in between. She also asked to speak to someone in charge, and surprisingly was granted an interview on the spot. And she was more surprised when the executive walked in, and it was a woman, Zelma Long. Long was a pioneer as California's second woman ever in enology. Mary Ann Graff was the first. Jansen was studying at UC Davis for her master's degree in enology and viticulture. When midway through her studies, she was recruited to work at Robert Mondavi in Oakville. She said, "We talked for an hour. I was joking, and I told her she just had to have a job for me. And then 2 months later, she called me and said, 'Are you ready?' And that was in 1978. She was hired as an enologist, and the rest, as they say, is history. Now, women hold quite a few important jobs in California. These women are one of the first ones. She said 2 years she worked there when she first was hired, and then she quit to get married and raise a family. But her love of grape and of the wine industry drew her back in. In 1989, Mondavi lured her back to be a director of production. And that was with the ultra luxury Opus One winery in Oakville. That's got quite a reputation too. Wow. She was appointed director of winemaking at Robert Mondavi Winery, and 21 years later, she was promoted to chief winemaker. She's seen a lot of changes and a lot of technology that has taken jumps over the years, but she has stayed focused and enjoyed her ride to this point. She is looks back on it with fond things. She still gets involved with it, but not quite as much as before. She's got more free time and focusing on her favorite hobby, which is just winemaking itself. Since 1998, she and her husband Luke Johnson has been making boutique wine of their own at their home in Napa Valley, and their portfolio limited edition brand is set back in time. You're relying on techniques such as hand sorted grapes and gentle gravity flow instead of pumps. And then during the average 30-month barrel aging process, the wine enjoys daily serenades of Mozart music. I don't know if that makes it better or not, but it sounds cool. It's all made by hand because I wanted to prove to myself you can still do it just by your heart, your muscle, and the pure juice of the grapes. I'll never stop winemaking. It's so rewarding. So there you go. She's been with Mondavi for many years. Let's see, what does it say here? Sauvignon vines planted in 1945 in Block 1. Picture over here with that. And let's see, there's other pictures. What do we got here? This is just another picture of the same thing, basically. And these grapes are Sauvignon Blanc, and then these grapes are Sauvignon Blanc, and number 5 picture is the same block of grape Sauvignon Blanc. Okay, so that doesn't tell us a whole bunch, but good for her. A legendary winemaker who still is enjoying it. Okay, let's get out of this and go to okay, share these 1440s. I have 3 articles from a website 1440, and let's see what they are. Oh no, not that one. That one is. And let's see what this one is. It's not just wine stuff I keep on here. It's other stuff. CRISPR. There's an article on CRISPR. It's they're different than human. I talked about CRISPR in the past. CRISPR is a good way to go. If you can go, it's not GMO. It's not genetically modified. It's almost. It's a little bit different. CRISPR modified foods are different from GMOs. Let's see. How does CRISPR? Let's see. Science says rewriting and CRISPR is doing in our food. And these are longer articles. I'm not gonna. But I thought maybe there was a little quick answer to the question. Let's see. Oh, no. Okay, one of the most significant advances in modern medical science, CRISPR, is CRISPR, and there's something. It's an acronym. Here it is. It's a molecular tool that can make precise changes to a gene's DNA. And an acronym for the scientific descriptor of, quote, clustered, regularly interspaced, short, palindromic repeats. The CRISPR system was discovered in single-celled organisms where it acts as an immune system attacking invasive viruses. The scientists have learned how to modify the CRISPR system for use as a powerful gene editing tool, which researchers are using in efforts to develop everything from new medical treatments to more robust crops. And they're using it in grapes quite a bit. I talked about CRISPR, what, 7, 8 years ago. It's been quite some time. We first came out, started talking about CRISPR and what it was doing and the benefits of it and all that. Not GMO. It sounds like it, but it's let's see. In fact, they have a little video here that tells you the difference, which does you no good and me no good on a radio show. So, but CRISPR there's quite a few little articles there about CRISPR. That's why I saved that one. And what is this one here? This one is Napa Valley. No, mapping Napa Valley, background geography. And here's a video why is Napa Valley so famous. See. It says it's a 5-minute video, but again, it doesn't do you any good. Napa Valley, known for its luxurious wines and breathtaking landscapes, is a global icon, drawing millions of visitors annually, despite contributing only 4% to California's wine production. Its rich history dates back to the Wapo people who called it Tallahassee, or beautiful land, and later saw pioneers like Charles Krug establish Napa's first commercial wineries. Through challenges like the late 19th century root louse infestation, which is I don't know. It evades me. Phylloxera. There you go. Infestation and prohibition, Napa persevered and transformed, gaining official recognition as one of America's first AVAs in 1979, which they were not the first AVA. The first one was in Missouri. So they might be down the list a little bit, but they're not the first. Now known for defining vintages and Cabernet wines, Napa's evolution from fertile valley to wine epicenter continues to captivate wine lovers worldwide. So there you go. And then it goes into a lot of the other Napa stuff in this article, and they're all rather long, so I'm not going to get into it. Plus, I have a whole bunch of videos here that talk about the wine industry, but I keep that because it's interesting. Every once in a while, I'll jump into it, and if I have the time, I'll listen to another one or read another one. What is this? Is this one I've already seen? No, this is another one. It says a renowned California winemaker's final act, resuscitating a scorned grape. This is not going to let me have excess. No, it's not. Well, son of a gun. What? Well, it's not going to let me into it, so I'm not going to argue with it now. Why you guys? Here it is again. Now it's let me into it. All right, here we go. Hey, okay. They finally got it together and let me. Oh, it does. It's not let me get into it. Oh well, I'll look at it later. Okay. Former Charles Shaw vineyard is for sale. The Napa Valley Wine Estate, where Charles Shaw, later known as Two Buck Chuck, produced his first wines, has hit the market. The 43-acre property with 6,300 square foot home in St. Helena is for sale for $35 million, which isn't, considering Napa and the home and everything, $35 million is not outrageous. Probably get it for a half that. A lot of other places. Currently home to Benessere Vineyards, Benessere. Benessere Vineyards is the salt where Shaw established his winery in 1974. He was originally known for his Beaujolais style Gamay wines, but he filed for bankruptcy in 1990. Fred Franzia, the inventor behind Bronco Wine Company, and you've all seen Franzia wines and Bronco wine. We talked about Constellation a little bit earlier in the show. Bronco Wines is one of those big ones right up there with Constellation brands. They're enormous. They've got so many people. Gallo, Bronco, Constellation, and I don't know. There's a couple more I can't think of, but those are the big ones that own Napa Valley and California grapes. But eventually they bought Fred Franzia and Bronco Wine. Charles Rambrown and turned it into the offering of Trader Joe's Two Buck Chuck. The Sacramento Bee first reported the listing. Let's see, what is this? Encompassed by vineyards, organic landscape of the Napa River, is offering everything that you would want in Napa Valley and rarely available. Property is ready for a buyer to come in and continue operation. It's let's see, permitted. It's got the vineyard, winery, and a permitted tasting room, and a single-family home on the lot with 8 bedrooms. Whoa. The listing notes that the winery's entitlements are pre-WDO, referring to Napa's 1990 Winery Definition Ordinance, which permits issued before that date tend to be much less restrictive than what would be issued today. Yeah, that's very true. After he filed for bankruptcy, John and Ellen Binish bought the property in 1994 for $1.5 million. According to public records, they established Benessir. Is that the name of the vineyard? Yeah. Benessir, Italian for well-being, with a focus on Italian grapes like Sangiovese, Vermentino, and Pinot Grigio. The Benessir wines sell for up to $95 a bottle, which is typical pricing in contemporary Napa Valley. Meanwhile, Franzia, who once proclaimed no bottle of wine should ever cost more than $10, acquired the Charles Scholl brand name in 1995 and produced it at his facilities in the Central Valley. The bottlings were composed of bulk wine, not made from Napa Valley grapes. He began selling his Charles Scholl wines at Trader Joe's in 2002 for $1.99 a bottle, and now costs $2.99 at Trader Joe's locations, but the moniker $2 Chuck has stuck with it. So there you go. If you got an extra $35 million in your bank account, it sounds like a great property to get on. And if they were selling wines out of there for $95 a bottle, then I'm sure you can probably get that easily now too, if you make a decent wine. So the $2 Chuck is Fred Franzia. Okay, he's a Bronco wine. Fred Franzia is the one that started the $2 Chuck brand, so he's the one that gets the credit for that. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Renowned California winemakers. Is this the one I just did? No. Oh, this is the one where they keep cutting me off and won't let me have access to it. I'll have to check that later. And let's see. Oh, wow, it's 8 o'clock. I didn't realize it was that time. Let me go back to the studio here. And Mike, you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I didn't realize what time it was getting to be. With our glitches in there, we use some time up. This drives me crazy. I made it through it with this echo in the background, but
I have an idea. You're on the back end in the studio. Go down to the third little icon down there. You're in there twice. I think it's the bottom one that I had to click, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to drop you from here. And then
I clicked it to the first one, and I'm still getting the echo.
Okay, we need to disconnect one of them, and I don't want to disconnect you from the show. It's the on my screen. It's the third one down, and you'll notice that because it has the switch turned off. And if you click the 3 dots and click on remove host, that should close that particular person down. I just don't want it to affect your main one. So if you can do it or I can do it, whatever works. But I just didn't.
3 dots, but I not getting anything. In fact, I just clicked on all 3 of them and nothing happened.
Oh, you didn't get the 3 dots next to the little switch? It didn't say edit name or remove host?
No.
Huh. Okay, I'm gonna do a test real quick, folks. This is live on the air test. This is a test. And
this is a test. If this were an actual alert, yeah.
Let's see what happens. Oh, gosh, I just don't want to disconnect you. It says because it says remove host, and you're the host, but you're not on this particular channel. So let me. I'm going to click on it. Here we go.
Okay.
All right, you still there?
I'm still here, and I'm not getting an echo.
That's what it was. It was still open, or it reopened on your browser or your thing. That's what you were listening to.
Oh,
because that was your original call, and then when you reset your tab or whatever, it kept that active. That makes sense. So
I see.
still don't know why we got disconnected, but we'll have to keep track of that. I wrote it down on my notes. So, but at least you got the echo taken care of. So
Got the
that's a
echo
good thing.
taken care of. Yes, that is.
Yay!
Good.
Look at that,
Yay.
100, just under 100% today.
All right, just under. We did good. Okay.
We'll take 95%. So
Any day.
that's
Yeah,
good. Yeah, any day. All right. Well, that concludes the show for this evening. It is 8:05 p.m. on the 16th of January. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did here. And just tune in next Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and we'll have another experimental show for you as we have been as we have been experimenting since 2009. So
it seems to be right.
We'll get it right very soon.
Yes,
And
we're striving for excellence. It's getting there.
Without training, though, without any formal training, I think we're doing really well.
You're right.
So
you're absolutely right.
Yeah. I think this is fantastic for being on this long and actually figuring this out. But no degrees, nothing like that
just,
in the related topic. We
Mike
just
says,
got on
would
here.
you like to do a radio show? And I go, yes. And that's how we started. And then
that's right.
And we've grown to this. Yeah. So
that's right. Neither one of us. Well, you were the wine expert. I was not an expert in any of it, but you were the standing wine expert.
The hookup on this and all that. That's
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Which probably explains why it doesn't work all the time. Oh man, my sound effect didn't go through. Why not?
Oh, why? What's wrong? Let me hit this button.
Yes. What does this? So we'll talk to you all next week. Thanks again, and be safe. Have a good week, and gosh, stay warm.
Be safe out there and stay warm all around the country. Oh my gosh, it's horrible. And again, as a final note too, wildfire, California, LA area. We all have heard about this. We're all wanting. If you want to donate, American Red Cross, they are taking donations, and there's, I mean, how many thousands of people are displaced now? It's terrible. Unbelievable. Lost their houses and stuff. It is horrible. So if you want to donate, American Red Cross, best way to do it. You don't start giving to different charities that call in and say, we need money for the fire. Don't do that. It's too easy to get caught in a scam. So just go to the American Red Cross.
It's unfortunate they take advantage of that, but
they do. Yeah.
Red Cross is there. So
and money, clothing, anything, toiletries, diapers, baby stuff. They'll take anything, but go through the American Red Cross.
Yeah, the best way. All righty. Have a good one. We'll talk to you all next week. Thank you.
See you next week. Be safe.
This concludes tonight's broadcast of All About Wine with your host, Ron. For show information, links to All About Wine on Twitter and Facebook, or to be a guest on this show, visit the show website at www.allaboutwinebtr.com. Archived shows are available for download on iTunes or on our show page at blogtalkradio.com/allaboutwine. Thank you for listening. Drink responsibly, and we'll see you next time on All About Wine.
Wow. I said Twitter. It's X. It's not Twitter. Oh,
it's X, yeah.